Hi there. My name is Nemo Ashong, founder of Enjoyment and leader of the Pioneer community, a community of leaders who choose to go by and do it through possibility, inclusion, and authenticity. Today, I want to talk about something. I just got off a phone call with a great friend of mine from college. And in that conversation, it's actually been very interesting going back and talking to people from college. We've been having long conversations, just really long and deep conversations. And there's a recurring theme that keeps coming up around, I miss having deep conversations. I wish I could talk to people about the things that I used to be able to talk to them. I wish I could just talk to people. And it made me feel that I needed to come out and say something. And really this here is more of a call and more of like a beacon to let you know if you're someone that has an opinion that doesn't necessarily line up with others, like, we need to hear it. Like, your difference here is something that we value, that belongs as a part of this conversation. So I'm talking here specifically today about inclusion. And if you've been watching some of my videos or listened to the podcast, you'll know that this has been a journey for me to be able to talk about inclusion. It's been one of the things that scares me all the time to talk about. I'm a little scared right now, but at the same time, I'm like, that's the reason why I got to do this. That's my compass right there. And the reason for this here is that for some reason, talking about inclusion feels like the least inclusive place or thing to be able to talk about. For some reason, this thing that in itself should be, like, in my mind, welcoming, is very off-putting and puts people off in various silos and different ways, different places. The way I look at it, it's like there's somehow a right way to talk about inclusion. There's a right way. There's the way, and that just doesn't feel all that inclusive to me. And so I'm coming out here, and I wanted to make this video, and share this with you here, because when I have conversations with people, it turns out that I'm not the only one that feels this way. It turns out that there are a number of people out there that actually want to just have a conversation and really engage in a conversation without necessarily having to be right or wrong, or having to really have the fear of being, how do I say it? So for me, it's fear of death. And it might come out like really extreme to some of you, but I mean, honestly, my big thing, one of my greatest fears, I think it's my number one fear, is to be alone. Number one fear. And it's driven me for a number of my years. It's part of the reason why I bring people into my life. I've felt like an outsider in a number of different things that I've done. And I've never consciously gone out and be like, I'm on the outside. But at the same time, I end up being an outsider, on the simple things, the things that people can see, that might be because I'm a black male in an industry or in industries where there typically aren't that many black people in there. Yeah, that happens. But I also have wild, interesting thoughts. I do things. I dance in my seat. I still do that. By the way, all my seat dancers that listen to music and feel the music taking them somewhere, booyah, I got you. But I bring up all these things here because it turns out that there are a lot of people who just want to engage in a conversation around topics that really seem to be at the heart or in the core for a lot of different people. They want to talk about social issues. And yet, it is incredibly dangerous to do it. And I'm just going to call it out because I think we all know that. There's a right way to talk about a lot of these different things. And I'm calling shenanigans. Shenanigans on that. If we want to have these conversations, we need to be able to be in a place where we are open to transformation. We need to be in a place where we are open to hearing different opinions. And so there's actually two calls here. The first one is that if you have an opinion that may not be popular or may not be fully formed or all that, please engage in the conversation. Please engage in the conversation. Please initiate the conversation. Please be willing to stand in the middle of the arena. I realize that I'm like there's a lot of sound coming from me in that where I'm at right now. But just know, play, Be in the conversation, be in the arena. Right now, I am listening to the song This Is Me, which was part of The Greatest Showman. And it's something I listen to every morning. It is part of my morning routine. It is part of what helps me like anchor myself in who I am, what my objectives are, what my mission in life is, what my identity is, and how I show up for each of you every day. And there's a sentence in there that says, I am bruised.